Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. Salome here. Happy New Year. I watched a bit of 2023 releases, so I wanted to update you about what I think. And yeah, let's just dive into some of the films that was released in 2023, and I will give you my thoughts and recommendations as usual. And my boyfriend will comment because most of these films we watched together, and I really wanted to make the most, but still I have to see some of more films, which I will update you later. Okay, so let's start with two French films that I watched, and the first one I watched in the plane when I was flying. And this is Justin Triet's Anatomy of a Fall. This film, I think, was very critically acclaimed, and I've watched Justin Triet's 4 films already, so I have formed my opinion, and to be honest, it's not that positive. But Anatomy of a Fall had a really interesting plot since I like these murder mystery type of films. And I really loved the cast, especially the young boy. I don't know how he could act so well, but the film to me was too intellectual and rational, so I was not drawn to it. The dialogues seem to be built on a very, let's say, rationally, and I'm not a fan of this type of dialogues. But of course, it's just my opinion. I think Justin Triet's first feature film was really good, and after that, she sort of repeats herself. And in spite of great cast, I think this reads well on a script, but when you watch it, for me, it was too descriptive. So it might be only my opinion. But another French film that I sort of liked was Passages, and I've been wanting to see this film for a long time since it was released. It's been playing on Mubi, and I really wanted to see it, and finally I got to see it. I really liked the cast here. I think Adele Exarchopoulos, I don't know how to pronounce her name, but she is the most watched French actress nowadays. However, I really am disappointed that after her breakthrough, this blue is the warmest color, she is given the same type of roles, and for me there is not a big challenge in her career, and I think she deserves to be more challenged. Even in this film, she got a role that is not that complex, to be honest. However, I like the dynamics. I think that unlike Anatomy of the Fall, this Passages, this film had real bone, something fleshy, and it was really the characters felt more alive than in Anatomy of the Fall, and this is why I prefer this film. What do you think, baby? Do you like this film?
Yeah, it was quite interesting to watch actually. Yeah, and I liked the cast as well, of course.
Yeah, I think what I liked there was how these characters were, people like we meet every day.
Yeah,
They were really confused about their feelings. So this is what I like. They were pseudo intellectuals, but they felt real. And the characters are built in a way that I think director based the characters on her real experience. So yeah, I think this was a good film. It's not my favorite film in 2023, and I think we've seen indie films like that for sure, but still it was extremely watchable, and I was interested in this characters, especially the dynamics of this gay couple. It was so modern and contemporary, and what I've been seeing around me as well. That just really confused and lost individuals, and I liked how they were portrayed. Okay, and this film was very casual but real. The film that is, I think, one of the worst films in 2023 is. What do you think? Wait.
Ferrari?
Oh my god, it is so bad! Ferrari, oh my god. So before I watched Ferrari, I really liked Ferrari, and now I'm not sure. It's so shameful. First of all, the film is clearly about Italian brand, and in the cast, who is Italian? Penelope Cruz is surely not Italian. Adam Driver is not Italian, and Shailene Woodley is not Italian. So I don't know who was selecting the cast and what's the thought behind it, but I really don't like this type of white lies in the film. When you are making a film about historical brand as Ferrari, and I don't know, they made the same mistake in Gucci film with Adam Driver, and we've been talking about it together. I really love Adam Driver. Okay, I really love Adam Driver, and his performance is really cool here. Penelope can nail anything, and of course she nails this character as well. But the whole film is such a cliche dramaturgy and so I don't know, so old-fashioned. There is not a single drop that was fresh, you know. And I know biopics and historical films tend to be built in this way, but they don't have to. They really don't have to. Am I really harsh about this film?
No, I think no, because I have the almost the same opinion. To be honest, the only scene I liked there was the last racing scene.
The last racing scene, yeah.
Race scene because of retro cars, and it was not like in Fast and Furious because of retro cars, and it was quite intense.
Yeah. The next film, let's talk about Past Lives. Also, a very critically acclaimed film. This film is South Korean, but I would say that there is no South Korean spirit in this film. Okay, I'm a massive fan of South Korean filmmakers, Hong Sang-soo, Kim Ki-duk, Lee Chan-dong. For me, that is South Korea. And I really don't like the tendency nowadays that West, especially American and some European countries, they have absorbed South Korean culture and they are trying to make it more sellable for mass and mainstream, and that makes these films lose their spirit. Unfortunately, when they custom make these films for some type of audience, that's usually what happens to independent and author films. So the Past Lives, I had high expectations because the story was kind of very relatable for a lot of people. Distance relationship built about around the childhood love story. And what can I say? I don't know. What would you say, maybe first of all, about Past Lives? Did you like
Well,
it?
I felt like this film wasn't so authentic like many other South Korean films I've watched before, and there actually I didn't like kind of cheesy piano music because I'm kind of related to music production and I have some experience in it, and so yeah, but I kind of liked the views of New York. It wasn't so
Oh yeah.
um, so standard, from the eyes of tourists, like a typical New York use of Times Square, etc. So yeah, but the dialogues for me were kind of too too dramatic, I think, and not so realistic. I would say in a bad way, rather.
Yeah. Well, I have to agree with you. Let's give the credit to director where it should be given. The scenes of New York were very fresh. New York is one of the most filmed cities in the world, and to say this about a director is a massive thing because try and film the cities that are so characteristic, especially from TV shows, and there is so much content in New York, and so she really had this angle, and she could have built up around this angle, the immigrants' perspective of New York. This was very fresh. However, where the director failed is the script. I think the director is very educated. She was a playwright herself, as I read, and she clearly pays I would say, too much attention to literature because this confusion is very common in filmmakers. They tend to approach films through words and scripts, and it is very misleading because literature is not film and film is not in literature. So you really have to adapt a lot of your mindset to make the words work on the screen. And a lot of times why I don't like the dialogue is that when I was watching these characters speak the words, I could literally see how the director was writing them because it felt so unnatural. People don't talk that way. They don't use such pathetic words and such well narrated thoughts, because a spontaneous reaction is always unplanned, and when they just talk in this very linear way, there is no spontaneity, and you see actually that they are reading and they are talking with memorized words. And that was really big mistake because the cast was really cool, and if they rehearsed these dialogues a lot, they could have come up with something more spontaneous, in my opinion. And another thing I don't like is this identity politics in films. I could see how being Korean, instead of being an interesting subject in the film, was kind of a burden, and this created distance for me. What I mean is that, for example, I would give you just one example. I don't know maybe if you agree, but when the married couple, so there is a married couple, spoiler, in this film. The woman is South Korean, and the guy is American but also immigrant descent, as I understood. And this guy tells this girl, after her Korean childhood love comes to America, he tells to her wife that, oh, no matter you are Korean, and no matter how well I understand you, I feel that there is something I cannot reach in you. And this is so misleading because it seems that just because this woman is a different nationality than this guy, there is a distance between them. And this is such a lie because I don't know about you, but there is no relationship on earth between two people where they completely understand each other. Because human beings are so complex, there is always something in us that can't be reached by another person. And even, especially when you are partners, partnership is so intimate. The more you go deep in person's mind and her spirit and soul, the more you understand that there is so much more, you know. And to hear in the film that that's just because she's Korean and he's American or whatever, this creates very bad stereotype that different cultures and different nationalities cannot reach them well, because there is this identities. But to Americans, for example, or to Georgians or to Russian or whatever, they can understand each other better. Well, on surface, yes, of course. There are some things that you can understand better when you speak to the same nationality. But we are talking about deep connection and deep spiritual seeing of a person, which is always difficult. So that's why I don't like this type of moral talks in the film. And this is just pure lie. And I think lies work well in the cinema when it is treated in a different way, when directors kind of play around the subject of lying, you know. But this lie is really unhealthy because it is told as morally true, you know, as morally high-pitched. And what you said, it's like very sentimentally driven, and it creates a very wrong vibes in the audience. So I think that is just a bad film for me, because it has such a moral high position, but when you just dissect the film and dramaturgy on a really deep level, you understand that this is just I'd say not a genuine film, and you just need to watch it in order to understand. There are so many cliche scenes in this film. I couldn't believe it. I really couldn't believe it. Two young children going separate ways. Oh my god, I would like, even if this metaphor comes into a young filmmaker's head, just don't use it, you know, just don't use it, because it's so overdone. Do you agree with me? It's just so overdone, it just does not work. And call me crazy, but I also saw a literal quotations from films like Lost in Translation, for films
sure.
like Wong Kar-wai, Fallen Angels. And yeah, we filmmakers are stealers. Of course, we are inspired from many filmmakers, but if you steal something, make it work, make it yours, and use this quotation as inspiration, not a literal repetition. Because if you repeat the same thing without working on it yourself, it just doesn't work. It's just mechanical reproduction, as Walter Benjamin says, and it loses this aura. So for me, Past Lives is just a mechanical reproduction. Well, now we have understood that South Korea sells, and directors want really to sell it well. With all due respect for her, congratulations on her success, of course, but that's just my opinion. And last but not least, let's talk about Saltburn, because we just finished watching it. Baby, tell me your fresh opinions.
Well, it was kind of not so realistic for me, and kind of cheesy that this poor but talented guy came across very rich, attractive, and they became very close and so on, because in the real life the things usually are not so optimistic, and it was in such a cheesy way for the first half and a bit more, but then there was kind of interesting pilot twist, and that's why this film for me personally was not such disappointment how it was with our past lives. So that's my opinion.
Um, well, I love Rosamund Pike, and I really like the cast once again. However, the film was not great, to be honest. It's way better than Past Lives, in my opinion, because it is still, how to say, it is still not as ambitious as Past Lives. So that's why it is maybe a bit better. What I mean less ambitious, just let me clarify, is that it has less moral preaching and sentimental high standpoint as Past Life. So that's what I mean. For me, it was just a regular film. I think this film does not claim to be whatever it's not. It is this bourgeois film trying to dissect and show the twisted and pervert lives of rich people, which we have all seen. So basically that film was a repetition. However, in the end, I liked it because I like these films that don't have good or bad characters. So everyone in this film was twisted and screwed up equally, no matter whether you was this poor guy or the rich guy, you were screwed. So everyone is equally trash, and that's why it is more watchable and more justified. Yeah, for me, I would justify this film more than Past Lives or other author films. This character of Oliver, of course, was nothing without Barry Keoghan. I don't know how to pronounce. He is great, and we love him. And I think he is the only actor who would make me watch this type of character, who is already, so I don't want to use the word cliche, but we have seen these films, we have already seen this type of characters. There is nothing groundbreaking, so you really have to choose master cast in order to make this film watchable today. And the cast was great. Rosamund Pike, Barry, they all, Carey Mulligan, they all made these very dull characters come alive. I would say that up until to the last minute, I was really bored, even though the characters, even though that the cast is good and actors do their best. It was really, really difficult to watch this film because I've just seen it so many times before. All in all, how would you rank maybe Past Lives, Ferrari, Passages, and Saltburn? Which you liked the best? Because he hasn't seen Anatomy of a Fall, I've seen it. I think I would say for me Passages is the best out of this film selection, then Anatomy of a Fall, then Saltburn, then Past Lives, and then Ferrari. Ferrari still is the worst, I think.
I think for me the first is Passages, then Salzburg, nevertheless, and then Ferrari, and on the last place, Past Life.
Yeah, fair enough. So anyway, guys, these are just my opinions. If you love these films, of course, we really acknowledge that films are subjective and this is open audience. So yeah, my taste is my taste. Let me know which was your 2023 worst and best picks. Maybe I will look at it because I think 2023 has been a good year in terms of quantity of the films, but so far about quality, I have not been impressed with any 2023 releases yet. I'm looking forward to see Yorgos Lanthimos' Poor Things because I love Yorgos Lanthimos. So far, he has not disappointed me, and the clips I watched really made me have high hopes for that. So I'm looking forward to see that. Anyway, thank you for watching and have a great day. Thank you, baby.
Bye bye.